Welcome back to Blueprints. It's day 37 and last time we had trouble with the whole clock tower fiasco, I guess, and this time we will see if we can enter that one again. But as always, let's start off by actually going outside. Let's see what's in store for us today. Should I get the schoolhouse? You know what I just realized? Isn't grade 10 the one where you graduate? Does that mean that does mean I need at least the Hall of Mirrors at some point, or like a similar effect that doubles my draft chance, because otherwise you can't actually get 10 of them, which is interesting. Alternatively, I could go for the Shrine, a Blessing for the next few ones, but I feel like, you know what, we have 28 coins. Let's get a Blessing. We still shouldn't be able to open this one. Right, because we do know that from the story that we can't actually open that one. Which is interesting. I'm actually not sure about those hands though. Anyway, let's get a blessing. And before I do that, I should actually look around. Because we do know that there's still one room that has a breakable wall outside. And it doesn't seem to be this one. Right, because like one of the texts talked about like an outside room where I still need the powered sledgehammer. In any case, let's throw in some coins. How many? Let's say half? No, let's say like 20 coins. Confirm. High roller. Each time you draft a shop, gain 1 die. Gain 5 extra coins each time you roll a die. For 4 days. That's great actually. Like investing a lot of money really is worth it, just like for the duration. Again, like it was kind of unlucky that the first one I got was like the Blessing of the General that I really didn't care about. Right, like if it consisted of our runs in a sense that imagine you get 5 red rooms over like 2 runs and 5 different ranks, and it would still count and it would be amazing. But like this, I don't know, I just really never cared about it. Let's enter the parlor. There are only a few more games until I have the trophy for that one. Wind up key, wind up key. The black box is true, the black box is false. A false box contains the gems. Okay. So the interesting thing is, okay, the black box is true, assume that. Then a false box contains the gems, which would mean that this one is false because the black box would be true and this one would contain them. Okay, let's assume that this one is true instead, that this one is false. In which case a true box contains a gem and this one would also be false, right? It does make sense, so this is the only one that works out. It has to be the blue one that contains the gems. Neat. Lost and found and I don't actually have items yet. What's gonna happen? Probably nothing. Ooh, that's a new one. The spyglass telescope. Get an additional effect of each constellation observed in the observatory. Huh? Additional effect? Does that mean that each... Okay, that doesn't mean that we need to get the observatory, but does that mean that the effects just work twice? Or what exactly are they trying to tell me? And we can also set up an experiment real quick. Experiment setup, continue with experiment. What can we do? When you draft the red room, unlock or bypass a security door, or whenever you spend 2 or more gems drafting a room. The chest in the entrance hall isn't actually too bad. I would say like the gems. I don't really care about the allowance that much, right? Like if I had like something that was like really easy to trigger, I might, because I have like 28, right? Like getting 1 or 2 more allowance isn't actually that interesting anymore. I feel like just getting the chest is probably fine. I'd hope that we could get more mail, but that would also imply that we would have to find the mail room again, which I never do. I mean, now that we have found the office again, like I'm still quite sure that has to do with like this note in here. March of the Count. I don't know if the Count as a title is... Like, okay, here's the thing that I'm always thinking is, this is the only line in black, and March, right, would make sense as a date, right? Part of that. But the Count? Maybe the count of like titles here? Maybe What else could I count in here? Maybe like these little statuettes here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, wait, I definitely missed somewhere. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, I should probably open the safe first. Right, like, this is one of the theories, yeah. I at least have to check, like, some of them, but I don't know what kind of date that would be. Wait, you start with months, right? 0309. Okay, no, maybe, again, like, death dates could be important. So we started on the 7th of November. I mean... Again, I'm just gonna check like a few dates that would make sense. We did have the 6th of October, but I don't think that they are like related at all. I just know it because it's like a date that exists, but why would that be related to here, right? You know what? I'm gonna check out the mail real quick again, because they were also talking about... Like again, I don't... Like I always wanna look for specific things in here, right? Like in the mail, because it's talking about dates, but why? And it could also just be like the count of lines. Or the second one, because it's in the second line or something like that. No. What kind of value could that have? Like, maybe this is like some common knowledge that I'm just missing, right? I mean, Queen, Count, Lord, Baron, Major. Like, to be fair, like the Major, but it's also the herrings, right? Like the red herrings here, right? It's definitely confusing to me. Like, again, I feel like this is probably something some people would have like no issue solving, like instantly looking at it, right? Like it's the same with like the Christmas photo, for example, where I was just like, okay, I was overthinking this. I thought there was like something hidden in there besides the Christmas, but apparently it wasn't. But like again, like I feel like the March could definitely be part of that one, right? But like, what count? Like again, could be those statues. Maybe it's the small ones, which would make it. Wait a second, that's not a statue, okay. At least not like, you know, of like a person. So we would have 8. Is it just 0303? Why is it 0303? I just tried like a few. Why? Maybe the count of like the other lines and the herrings of the major is like a red herring? Why? There's probably some explanation behind there that I don't get, and I really don't get it. Count of pictures in here, maybe, right? There's like one. Wasn't like one here before? Because there are like 2 over here. I always thought that there was like 1 over here, but maybe not. There's probably a reason why it's all 303, right? Like I just started trying like the different dates in March, but I don't know why all 303. Oh, this is 8. Okay, here's something I think is really fascinating, that they are always writing 8 like an infinity symbol, and the number 8 seems to be really important for whatever reason, right? Like we have the 8 realms and the 8 trophies that we're getting. It's always something with 8. You could also March the 3rd? Okay, how would I know about that? Wait. Before I read that one, is there any letter inside of here? Electronic mail, that's in March. No, it's October. I changed a fuse box repair, also not the same. I don't know how I would have figured that out outside of guessing right now. Again, like this could be like the red herring and there's like the count of the reds, but that's like my biggest guess right now. Is there something else in here that I can count? I don't know. Let's get to reading though. Dear Mr. Sinclair, thank you for promptly answering all our demands not involving the police and allowing this unfortunate transaction to transpire as smoothly as one could hope. Now I'm curious who is writing this one. And while I'm guessing you had hoped to never hear from us again, once we had given you back the envelopes, we felt that one final red letter of our own was merited given the circumstances. So, wait, have you already bought them back? Now Wait, I'm gonna think about this in a second, right? Like, I'm gonna read through this, and then I'm gonna hopefully make clear what I'm currently thinking about. Because I am so confused again. Hopefully you will not be as careless with this missive as you were with the others. Correspondence this incriminating should be kept in safes, not desk drawers. Let's first put your apprehensions aside, as I'm sure another red envelope is the last thing you expected to find on your desk this week. No, we are not making more demands, and no, we do not have copies of the other letters. You were already more than generous and accommodating, and the least we can do is fulfill our end of the bargain. So why write to you at all? Why incriminate ourselves further if we already have what we want? In a word, principles. After reading your eloquent reply to our initial note, it became apparent to us that there had been a few misunderstandings. This letter is intended to clarify some of these points and hopefully will place our schemes in a softer light. First, we may have gotten too excited with the colorful language of blackmail, but our goal was never to terrorize. Despite what you may believe, you interpreted as thinly veiled threats towards your young nephew. I want to personally assure you there was never any tangible danger. If we gave any impression we would hurt the youngster, it was meant only in the very vague sense of hurting his social prospects. And yes, while we admit that, our word choices might be questionable, enough so that it would be reasonable to accuse us of being intentionally misleading. We hope you believe us when we tell you that this was not a calculated ploy to elicit payment. However, as payment has been received, there is nothing to be gained by scrutinizing the questionable ethics that were employed in our extortion of those funds. Little defense can be mustered on that score. Additionally, any judgmental tone you may have detected when we discussed the content of your stolen letters was entirely unintended. We wanted on record that we do not consider ourselves superior to you and your family in any way, and are in fact entirely sympathetic to the underlying cause that the letters pertain to, and you thought this letter couldn't get more incriminating for us. Again, we feel guilty as sin, and only time will tell if the financial recompense will outweigh our culpability. Even though you will never hear from us again, we hope this parting letter will result in you thinking of us and our dealings, if not favorably, at least sympathetically. Sorry for the inconvenience. Forever Anonymous X. Okay. Now I'm doubly confused. Okay, so we do know about the 8 letters. Okay, originally the 8 letters were inside of Sinclair's office. The office that was safe because it was in rank 10. It was like extremely hard to get there. These were stolen, and in 8 payments of 100 gold, they had to be bought back. Which explains why there are 8 letters and not 7. Okay, here's the thing. Originally, I thought we had seen that somebody came into the estate and was watching us, and like one of these visions that we got from Alzara, was he called? That like something was stolen, and like I was under the assumption that the thing that was stolen was like one of the red letters that I would have to buy back. But apparently Sinclair already bought all of them back, which made a lot more sense after I like reread that text, because there were like 8 payments of 100 gold pieces, which means that all of them are in here. That means that now I'm confused. What was stolen from the estate, or what will be stolen, because I'm still not sure about that. Who is X? Like, I would assume that X is the former groundskeeper, because he had like the red envelopes and was writing another letter, and he was also wrote the ransom note basically, right? Like he cut together like all of those letters. We had seen that one like in the secret room in the greenhouse. This letter though is so vague. I am not sure if I actually learned anything. Okay, so this was done in secret. Why on March the 3rd? Is it like the year, like this year? I'm assuming that the plan to name us the heir had already been set in place, basically, which is something that X here, I'm gonna just assume that it's like somebody, it could be like the old groundkeeper, let's just say it's X, figured that out, somehow threatened us, or it like seemed like he was threatening us. But the question is, because we do know about like the other red letters, like we have like one in the shelter, for example, as well as in the boudoir. These two were not by X, so like one of them was by our dad and the other one was by someone else. I forgot who wrote that one, assuming that I even knew about that, right? I don't know if there was like actually somebody signing that letter. But they were definitely critiquing Sinclair's behavior before, right? Like, it seems like our dad kind of knows kind of what has happened to our mother. We are apparently not sure, I'm assuming. I'm assuming that like our character doesn't actually know that much more than we do know. And we also knew about like somebody being kept safe down in the shelter while the investigation was going, which is why they talked about not removing the shelter from the draft pool and stuff. But like this one, I'm just confused. I feel like there's probably another letter that I have to find, and once I find that one, this is going to make more sense, because again, like this is written really vaguely, just in case like somebody probably finds this really early into their playthrough. Because again, like, I mean, if you figure out that it's just a date, then it's actually not the hardest one to crack, just guessing. But yeah, I guess we at least solved something. Kind of. I'm just more confused than ever. But it does mean that we have 3 of those letters, and 7 should be findable, but the 8th one isn't. If I understood like one of the visions correctly. In any case, let's get back to drafting for now. I'm gonna think about this. And the observatory, which is amazing. We currently don't really have keys, which is annoying, because I also am very limited in what I can currently do. But the observatory should be nice because we have the telescope, right? And I want to know what the telescope is actually doing here. And we are at star 21. Let's activate you. Slice. Diamond's major and the farmer's apple. I can go out. Can I look again? Oh, I can look at them twice. Okay, that is what it means. Basically, I doubled the effects. Okay. Would have been nice to get like other effects as well, but sure, let's just keep it. Okay, I can just use the telescope again just to look again, but otherwise it doesn't actually do that much. And up here there's still nothing to do. I still don't really know. I'm guessing they're just showing us that we can move stuff around, but like I've never really felt like this had any real effects, right? Like we can spin you around, like maybe I can look even higher? No. They're just 2 positions and that's it. Like I just remember finding this like really early, and then you set it up once and then you never have to set it up again. And that just always confused me. Anyway, let's hope that I can actually continue. And I can't continue, okay. Another short run, but this one at least, because I can't go to the left of the gym. This one definitely warrants a second run. But let's call it a day. Just for now. Again, we can't really do anything, sadly. I just was really unlucky with like all my drafting here. Luckily, we still have the shrine going for the next run. Quaint Cottage. Like, I had two very terrible runs right now, but hey, it's fine. At least we solved something the last few days. Let's try this again. Day 38. And let's do this again. As always, I'm gonna run outside and see what I can find. First, money though. And the shed. Trading post again. This is technically a shop, which means that we are getting a reroll, which is nice. And now I just need to get like either the key card or like the combination of security and the other one, the breaker box, and then we can actually get the armory and maybe blow up TNT this time around. But first the parlor. I mean, we still have to solve it completely. Again, I really want this trophy. That also reminds me I need to get the billiard room a few more times, because I always, like, I tend to ignore that more often than I ignore the parlor. Anyway, there are 2 empty boxes. This is a true statement, because there have to be 2 empty boxes. This box is empty. There are 2 true boxes. Okay. So this one obviously is a true statement, because that's just part of the rules. There are 2 true boxes. Assuming that there are 2 true boxes, then this one would be true and this one would be true, because it would have to obviously be true itself. Which means that this one is false. That means that the key, like the gems, would be inside of here. Alternatively, we could say this is false. There are not 2 true boxes. Instead, there's only 1. This one is guaranteed true, so, and this one obviously has to be false, and this one also has to be false, which still leaves it as the box is not empty, basically, right? Like, either way you read it, you are going to get those gems. I'm gonna go for the showroom again. It's not been too long since I last got that one, but I'm not sure if there's like something special in here. This looks like a special key I've never seen. So the items in here change as well, it seems like. Let's see. We have the master key. Opens all normal doors. Ooh. I can rewind every time after drafting new floor plans. I guess it's like whenever I do a reroll, then I can redraft, which is a cool effect. And the moon pendant, obviously cool if I just want to keep an item for next time. Gonna leave it here, but I feel like the chronograph wouldn't actually be too bad, because that makes it more likely for me to find the clock tower, for example. I mean, I can also just find the clock tower instantly the next time I open the door. I'm gonna have to check the time. I'm guessing I might be a little bit early, but even if I am, I might just wait until the door opens again. Wait. I mean, yeah, the time works this way. Yeah, okay, I have like a few minutes. I'm gonna set like a 10-minute timer for myself. And once that ends, I'm gonna check here again. Or like 15 minutes? Probably. Oh, pet. No one else to pet? No. Oh, the mail room. It's been some time since I last got that one. But maybe there's like a ladder here now? I mean, we've gotten the order place. Like, I for some reason assumed that maybe there's a letter in the entrance. By the way, is there something new here? No, the 9-3 is something we had before. I don't know if I already had this one, but it doesn't actually hurt to look at this stamp again. I feel like I already had that one. And yeah, like we have like the confirmation again that people knew that the old groundskeeper obviously stole the mail, or it was at least assumed. I mean, by the text that we had found, it seems all but assumed, or like all but confirmed. And we have the labs, so let's set up an experiment. For each bedroom you draft after a second, permanently add 1 to allowance. I have already drafted a few bedrooms, so it's not too bad. The gems one, you know what? Let's do that one. Let's do allowance, I guess, because I don't really need the rest. I could also take the lose 10 steps one, but I'm already gaining a bunch of steps whenever I draft one, so I would still get like a positive out of there, but I feel like I don't really need that much gold, I would assume. Let's just say allowance, because I can definitely get a few more. I'm assuming, or like I'm hoping, that the previously drafted ones also count like towards like the first 2, right? Like the requirement. I don't expect to get like an allowance, but like the next time I draft one, I could be getting allowance. I just wanna have to, like, I wanna know how, if that works. Would be nice to know. Also, let's check the keycards. Huh, I must have missed a stopwatch somewhere. Maybe in the clock tower again? Either way, if I change the settings here, I should be able to go to the 8th rank and get the armory. Has this always been swaying like this? Might be getting crazy. But I just want the blessing or like the mantle of the knight because I need the armory. Technically, I could also probably magnifying glass and metal detector. Like I have 2 ways to actually get the burning effect. But let's just keep it at that. Also, I'm up here, so let's continue the draft. What can I change today? Nursery is commonplace, that's okay. Do I care about the cloister? Not really. It's like really inefficient and I can't even, you know, dig around in there, which is weird. Chapel, commonplace, that's fine. I like the chapel actually, like 1 cost for like a 3-way room, and also if I take the bishop blessing I get money out of that, that's completely fine. That wasn't like too interesting, but at least it's something. Nothing hidden about? Okay. Ooh, this is actually a great room to put the workshop at, I just realized. This is one of the letters that I don't know about yet, and I can do the thing that I wanted to do. Ooh, battery as well. It is a C. Okay, now I'm confused because... Maybe I'm just wrong about like the other letters in the 8th rank. Because I have like C, A, a gap, and N and T. Like can't doesn't make sense. Maybe I mixed something up there? I'm gonna have to check like the other ones. I mean, I kind of know that it's about dates, but otherwise I am baffled at least. Okay. I guess I didn't need it. It's the compass. No, it's not the compass. It's the magnifying glass and the metal detector, right? You know what? I'm gonna do it now because I will forget otherwise. And I can still go like from the south to the north in a moment. And the burner. That means that we didn't actually need the armory, which is, you know, there are worse things that could happen. Now the question obviously remains, am I correct in my assumption that picking up dynamite is dangerous, but just lighting it up is completely fine? Because if that's the case, I mean, I'm not questioning it, and it seems reasonable. Like, to be fair, you should probably not handle explosives if you're not experienced in that kind of field, but... Nobody ever said something about, like, not touching it, but lighting it instead. Time to run. I mean, wise choice. I can actually move my mouse around. Neat. And this is the secret room. Okay. Upgrade disc and a ladder. Ooh. And I have some terminals around. Ooh, also a lot of money. I'm guessing this money is going to refresh every single time I come here. That means the trading post isn't actually the worst room anymore. Ooh. This is by Danny. Christoph, here's the rest of your share. 40 gold from the moonshine shipment we made last week. This may be the last batch for quite some time, as I feel it is no longer worth the risk, especially given Anne's continually increasing suspicion. But I do need to ask another small favor of you. Next week, when you take the Baron to town, if you can fabricate some excuse to delay your return by an hour or two, I would be much beholden to you. Okay, this explains like a lot, right? Like because Anne Babbage had talked about, or like complained about the driver being late, right? Like this is kind of connected to that one apparently. And they did talk in the, like Danny talked in the notes about using this distillery basically for all the potatoes that were found. Okay, at least all of that is now connected. And this is the last note because it's like 1 week before he tried to reach rank 10. Okay, this kind of makes sense. Okay, I don't know if I expected like a larger revelation, But I guess this is like the hidden room now, and I can kind of look outside, but that's it. Oh no, it's a timer. Oh no, you could hear the timer. Oh no. That means we should probably return to the other room. Wait. Am I off? No, okay. For some reason I thought it would be way later. Sometimes I'm terrible at reading the clock, but obviously we still have like 2-ish hours or so. So I'm gonna check out like 2 more rooms or so. I mean, I wanted the billiard room. It's not like this is a hard puzzle, but I need it for the trophy. So let's get this done with. This is a 9. This is also a 9. This is a 9. Wait, 9? Oh wait, there's a 16 obviously. I should probably add stuff together properly. Wait. This is 4, 5, 20? This multiplication, right? Yeah. Okay, I need to remember like the colors because normally I always orientate myself by the order. So 5, 4, 16 divided by 16 is 1. Okay, that wasn't too bad, and it's a silver key at least. Well, I mean, silver key for some reason rarely works for me. Ooh, my allowance has been raised, and this has been the first room that I actually drafted. So like, the trigger doesn't happen, but the requirement that each bedroom after the second, because I had already drafted 2 of them, they do count. It's interesting and good to know for next time. I mean, I could still take the armory. I don't really need it, but I get something from my blessing, and I seemingly have other equipment here. I still have the shield, but I didn't have the axe last time. You may use the axe in the room directory to permanently remove the gem cost from one room. I mean, yeah, absolutely. What's a room that has like a lot of like a high gem cost, but I would love to remove it from? Maybe the pathway, like the 4-way intersection. I mean, I do have a sled. I mean, Morning Star is still nice, even though I have a sledgehammer already, just because I'm getting another star tomorrow. Okay, room directory. Which cost do I want to remove? This is 3. I mean, Rotunda would definitely be worth it once I remove that one, because it's basically 4-way. And it's commonplace currently. Oh gosh, I just realized something. If I had the classroom... I do have the classroom. Should I use the X on that one? Because it guarantees that I can do that, like I just have to find those basically, and they would be free. And since I have to draft like 8 of them at the same time, it's actually not too bad. I feel that's by far the best I can remove outside of the passageway, which is commonplace and costs 2. And it's like great to have like a 4-way intersection like that, but otherwise, I would say those are like probably the 2 most interesting ones, because I want to, in the next few runs, do the classroom again. I'm gonna slice off the gem costs here. Would you like to permanently X this floor plan's gem cost? Yes. Xed. Neat. That's such a cool effect, but I probably can only use it once, right? I can't just... wait. Did I just click something wrong? Yeah, I can't use it multiple times. Makes sense. I probably draft this one again another time though. And we're getting close once more. I have written down like some of the notes of the stuff I remember, but I feel like I'm just gonna have to experiment a little bit. I've been thinking about it a little bit because there's the last note still. Like I mentioned that I think that the note that tells us that it's not in ascending order is kind of misleading. I'm gonna say it's going to be in descending order, because otherwise you have too many combinations basically, right? I mentioned this before, this game is quite decent when it comes to I want to call it like guaranteeing that every single puzzle has like exactly one solution. And if I don't take that one, there are like too many solutions, just because, like, for example, 5 and 6 o'clock, for example, can be moved about quite a lot. Same with like 8 and 9 o'clock. Only like the 7 o'clock is kinda in a fixed position. And that makes it kind of hard to guess. I'm guessing it's going to be the other order, and I probably got something wrong with the few that are in are not ending on a full hour, basically. So let's start off like with the simple ones again. Okay, the clock's neighbors should both be set to the time containing a 7, and this one should be ending like on the hour, because, you know, it's a red node. So this one has to guaranteed be 7 o'clock. And there's like, this is like the one that's like 100% solvable, which means that this one can't be 7 o'clock. Set this clock to a time containing all different numbers, which means there has to be at least one repeating number, and it can't be everything repeating, because this one says the neighbors, both of the neighbors, should be set to a time containing a 7, which means that there aren't actually that many times that are valid here. Well, it can be, like the 7 has to be somewhere in there, which means that it either ends in a 7 or it's 7 o'clock and something. Those are like the two options, because obviously there are not 70 minutes or like more than 70 minutes in an hour. So the question is now, assuming that this is in a descending order, what happens if... No, wait. Like, I just thought, okay, what happens if I put this like to 9 o'clock and then something with 7? But the issue is that one of the numbers has to be in there twice, because again, like, all different numbers, and that means that at least one of them has to repeat, and both the 7 and the 9 cannot repeat for obvious reasons. And I can't put the 7 into like the 10th position when it comes to the minutes. That means the only valid option literally is the 5. Right? Like, wait, I missed that one. So 5, the minutes, 57. Because otherwise, it's not possible for a number to repeat. It could be the 7. But like the issue I'm still facing here is the times will go up in ascending order. Which means that this would be the... Because it's a red node, this would have to be the biggest number, and this would be the smallest number. Because otherwise it doesn't really make sense, because otherwise, you know, we have like that issue. Which means that this time has to be higher than this one, which means that the 5 is also not a valid number. Which means that the 7 has to repeat. And it cannot be another time. Like, wait a second, I'm gonna move this one to 757, because we have to descend going this direction, because if it were like an ascending order, then that doesn't really work out, because again, like, it's against the rules thanks to the red node. Okay, 5, it could also just be like a mixed order, but if it's a mixed order, then we have like another issue. So this can be either 757 or 755. Those are the only two options that we are currently having. But since this one... Wait, there's actually another node here. 5 of these clocks, and each of these clocks should be set to a different time. So we do know that, assuming that I understand this one correctly, that this is in a descending order in this order, in this way. That does mean that this one has to be between 7:57 and 7 o'clock. There aren't actually that many times that are possible, but hour-wise, like, we have to be in the 7th hour, and then the minutes. We cannot be anywhere between 10 minutes and 49 minutes. Those are just not valid times. We also do know that since this is 7:57 and the time cannot repeat, that there's the clock that has to flip that one. It's this one. This one cannot copy this one. So whatever time we are choosing, it has to be a valid time that starts with a number that we are allowed to start with, which means that there's only the 5 as a valid number. Okay, like, this has to be the last one, so it has to be end in something with a 5. Since we already said that... Wait a second. I mean, that means it can be either 5 minutes past, because again, like minutes 1 to 4 are not valid because of one of the rules. It's the rule over here that the numbers 1, 2, 3, or 4 cannot be used. And it can also not be 7 o'clock because we already have 7 o'clock. So 7 or 5 is valid, which would flipped around be 5:07, which is a valid time. It could also be... Both be set to a time containing a 7. I mean, it doesn't talk about like not being able to have like 2 7s in there. Maybe they're talking about that and should be 7:55. But that means that this one still is 5:07. I'm just gonna assume that this part of my logic still is sound. It can also be 5:57, but 5:07 is probably reasonable. So, since we are going in descending order, the smallest number that is possible has to be here. Since 1, 2, 3, and 4 o'clock are invalid, thanks to another rule, the lowest time, or the first time that's possible is 5 o'clock. And since we do need 5 different times that end on the hour, right, like with like 2 zeros at the end, this has to be 5 o'clock. Explicitly. Again, assuming that this is ordered in a descending order, because otherwise that one doesn't actually help us. We also need 6 o'clock, but we do know that this has to be something with like 5:07, I want to say. We already have that one. This one should be 6 o'clock then, because again, we only have 3 numbers that can't end in 00 at the end, and we already have those, so the rest have to be full hours. Let's switch that one over to, and I did it for too long again. So this should be 6 o'clock. We have 7 o'clock, 7:05, 7:57. That means that this one is 8 o'clock. I obviously moved the wrong hand there. 8 o'clock. And this one would be 9 o'clock. Again, assuming that they are just kinda unclear with this one. Okay, this is the closest to a solution that I can get that's relatively consistent, right? Like this is all descending. I also tried the whole thing where it was mixing around. I kind of want to look outside, but I feel like if I leave this room here, then I'm gonna have some issues again. Because like last time I just got thrown out, and I don't like getting thrown out. Gonna be completely honest. So this is one valid interpretation of this all. It could also be 7:55, which means not a lot actually. This one as well could be changed, because like it can be any number that ends in a 5 basically. Right, 7:05, yeah, 5:07. So as long as this is 7 something with a 5. That means it can be 7:55 or it can be 7:05. Those are like the 2 solutions that are possible here, because otherwise the flip doesn't work. Alternatively, it could also copy this clock over here, which would mean that this is... no, it can't. It can't, because this is 7:57 currently. But if I change this one to 7:55, assuming that... they actually meant that there should only be 1 7 each of the other ones, then this one doesn't change then. But it also means that it would only make this number valid as the only one, right? Like this is the only way this could work out, assuming that this isn't the one that gets copied, because this could also be a 5:57. Again, this is like the issue that I'm currently facing. There are like multiple valid like versions of this whole thing, and I'm kind of worried about like stepping out of here, but I kind of have to. Like the door doesn't close until I properly leave. So what happens if I look upstairs? Maybe actually something upstairs changes once you got it right, and they just don't give you like a confirmation until you're here, because otherwise it would be too easy. Right, like because you could just brute force it, but I'm guessing this is still wrong. But the door stays open, this is important. I'm gonna try out the other few values because again, I am kind of disappointed by the fact that there are technically multiple valid layouts, especially if we assume that this one, like there's like the other interpretation where we're saying, okay, wait. Yeah, the blocks are positioned so that their times will go up in ascending order. It could also just mean that all of them are mixed. If they are all mixed, then this gives like so many variations that are possible, right? Which is why I'm assuming that the descending order is probably better. Just because there are like fewer variations then. Okay, what did I change again? I could change this one to 57 and this one to 55. Can't be 56. That's the wrong button. I am great at buttons, by the way. I always like to talk about that. I'm great at buttons. So 57, 55. Which would make this 557. I'd already changed that one? Wait, what? I'm still worried because like the moment I'm leaving this room, this door is going to close, and this had been like my attempt for the day then, and I don't like that. Okay, let's maybe interpret this again. Is there something I am misunderstanding here? This should be set to a time that contains the same 3 numbers of another clock, but in reverse order, which means it cannot end in a 0 because same 3 numbers, which is important, right? Like they do not count like as like 5 o'clock is 5 o'clock. It's not 5 o'clock basically, right? Because they explicitly say 3 numbers, which means that whatever it's copying cannot end in 0. It can only, which also means that it can only be either the number, no, it has to be the number 5. Whatever it's copying has to be the number 5. And the other number can be 5. I mean, there could be multiple numbers actually. The only limiting factor is like this basically, right? It can only be 57 or 55, which is doubling, because again, like something has to double in here. Set this clock to a time containing all different numbers, which means at least one of them has to repeat, and it can only be one that repeats, because again, the 7 cannot be in here 3 times. Right, so the 7 can only double once, and the 5 could double once. It cannot be 7 o'clock, because this one's already 7 o'clock. Right, because we explicitly have this one. Each of these clocks should be set to a different time. And again, like the full hours, that those are clear, like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, we have 7 o'clock, which is the only one that's like 100% guaranteed in this position, 6 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. Again, it could just be that they are all jumbled up, right? Like in a sense that you have to go up and down all the time, but there are like multiple combinations for that one as well. Let's say we have 7 o'clock here. Is there a time higher than 7 o'clock? So I would say this one probably should be 6 o'clock then. This is 5:57. This could be 8 o'clock. Just to say something, it has to be higher. 7. But it doesn't work with those two. That's like kind of the issue. Unless this is 5. It could be 5. Can it be? I feel like I've tried like a lot of them, right? Like 557 has a 7 in there and another number repeats. And the 5 would be the only one that is allowed. Then we have something above 7 o'clock. Go down to 7 o'clock again. 8 o'clock. Below 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Okay. These are mixed up again. That means we already have 8 o'clock. We have to jump up again. 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. 5 o'clock is missing, right? So this should be 9 o'clock and this should be 5 o'clock. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. And you know, we are at a time, we go up, we go down, we go up, we go down, we go up, we go down, we go up. This is one of the solutions where you could say, okay, nothing is in ascending order. It doesn't matter, like, if you're looking left to right or right to left. Both of them are not ascending. And again, I'm always going to check up here in case there's, like, a compartment that opens. Wouldn't even know where it would open. Like, maybe I just have to leave the room once I have, like, a solution that is valid. Last time I think I had, like, the mixed one. This time I'm gonna go back to, like, the descending one, and then I'm gonna leave. I'm not sure if that is what I'm supposed to be doing, but worst case, I'm gonna have to do this puzzle once again. And that's just the way it is. 7, 7, 7, 6, 5, and... did that too long? Did that too long again? 5. So these allow in descending order again. I'm just gonna have to accept that this is one solution. What happens if I leave the room? I'm guessing the door's going to close. Yep, door closed. The moment I left. I don't know what I am misunderstanding about this puzzle. There clearly isn't anything here, except for the stopwatch that I have not even used. I really don't know what they wanted me to do here, but I will probably repeat this process a few more times over like the next few runs. But I still have like some exploring to do for today. Okay, it's the Knight's Shield effect. I guess I'm just pressing that one and then I can just click something. Could have used the weight room instead now I think about it, but there isn't actually anything too interesting in there either. And it's time to insert a disc. It's been some time since we last did that. Scan a disc. What can we get? Don't taunt me with the vault, by the way. Okay, bunk room. Maybe you can have this count as like 3 rooms or something like that. That would be funny. You have exactly 2 hallways when... double your... okay. Why? Oh wait, it's I want to say like why is the font so weird? It's double but written double. It's funny, okay. Green wouldn't double your... okay, 2 shops. I feel like gems... I don't care that much about coins, I have to say. Like I generally get like enough. I feel like I currently struggle most with like gems for some reason. I don't know why. At like 2 green rooms it can work, right? Sure, why not? It's not the worst idea. I mean, all of them are fine. I will probably not get too much value out of either of those upgrades, or like any, not just either, but still. Well, it seems like this is the very last room I'm getting. There shouldn't be anything special in here. I did get the code check again, and I would say let's store something and then end the run here. The question is, what do I want to check in? Wait a second. This is the run where I had the trading post outside, right? Okay, you know what? I have like another idea. Let's check out what happens if I try to trade in like some of the medieval gear. You know what? I'm getting taunted every single time. I got the trophy room again, but I do not have the gems. Alas. I guess this is the end of this run then. I did get the code check, but I still want to see what happens. Let's get the lavatory here. It's the only one I can probably afford. Still nothing in here. I remember there being items in here like exactly once. And I'm so confused why that happened. Probably I had like, I don't know, lucky rabbit's foot or something like that. Doesn't actually matter. Anyway, I wanted to check out the outside and see what happens if I try to trade in like the morning stuff, for example. Shopkeeper, what do you have to offer? Where is my knight's shield? The vault key. Yeah, I'm taking that one. I don't care about that shield. Lucky rabbit's foot, hall pass. Anything specific I really want to get? Because, okay, here's the thing. Wait a second. We do have the... where is it? We have the showroom. I can trade away all of the items that I want to trade away and keep 3 items in total, because I can get the moon pendant with my 30 coins as well as I have the code check. I could put in the key in there, and I wouldn't be too mad about that. I don't care about that one. Sledgehammer. It's a decent starting item. Let's see if I can trade them around in a way where I'm getting everything I want to have, actually. Okay, those are my 3 items that I have. Lockpick kit, decent, Morningstar, and the vault key. I am not sure, actually. Do I want to keep the vault key in my inventory and hope for an easy vault? But for some reason I'm not getting the vault every single time I have that one in my inventory. So I would probably just put it into the code check instead. And keep the other 2 because they are probably more useful in every run, while the vault key is just nice to have in addition to other stuff. Like once we get the vault, obviously. And the moon pendant. Easy peasy. Very mysterious. I also like the pattern of like the... I don't know if I noted that it reminds me of like the pattern that we have near, like on the stone, for example, near the well and stuff, where you have like the light gray rock and then the darker piece and the line in between. I don't think that they are related to like any of the borders in the sigils, right? They have like other patterns. I'm quite sure of it. Otherwise, I'm gonna probably I don't know, feel stupid once I edit this, but I feel like they looked quite different actually. And now for the code check. Let's put away the vault key. Perfect, has been checked. We can retrieve it next time. And we still have like 3 items, one of them being the moon pendant, which will disappear, which means we can end it here. And we will have a nice run next time, I hope. Let's call it a day. Yep. I hope I didn't forget anything, but then again, like I feel like the biggest mystery currently is the clock tower, and I'm gonna do a little bit of scribbling in between episodes just to find like all of the possible solutions. Like there should be a handful of them depending on like how you interpret the last message, but I will figure it out like off camera probably, just to not spend too many hours on this. Anyway, we found 9 items at 41 rooms in the garden shopping center of the dead. I mean, we did have a bunch of dead end rooms, like 12? Okay. How many was the record? Was it 19 or 29 or something crazy like that? Anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be seeing you next time. Till then, have a good one and bye bye.